What do we have here on GBPAUD? On the daily time frame, it's obvious we're bearish. One, we can see that it has been bearish since the beginning of February, and we can definitely call this an impulse leg where we saw price continue to find lower highs. But unfortunately, when price got here for sellers, they've been finding stiff resistance from buyers as we saw higher high, higher low rather. Then we saw this breakdown again that came back to structure during the course of last week trading session. So significantly what this means is that the area of 1.7 area has been a could be a temporary or permanent demand zone for the pound against the AUD. So if we would love to make things clear, we will want to label this demand zone. Let's put it right inside and let's give it a green. So we call this area a demand zone at the moment, and the reason why we are calling this a demand zone at the moment is because of these two rejection within the space of 3 to 4 weeks, giving us that sign, a little sign that there is a strength of the buyers in the background at this juncture in the market. And this could also give us a signal of a reversal pattern in the sense in the form of a double bottom structure, which technically is known as a very strong reversal pattern, especially on a higher time frame. So in that regard, in the perspective of a reversal pattern, then we might be looking forward to something like this, using this place as our neckline, then the second touch, then a breakout of structure, a retest into structure, probably at this point or at this point, after which we now see a trend continuation to the upside. And if you can see what's happening on the chart, this could take probably a month thereabout for the structure to complete. However, going into the new week, we want to take advantage of this trade if there is any opportunity before us. So if we scale down to the 4 hours time frame, for instance, I'm having something that looks like this, where I see tendencies of sellers trying to push price as soon as price gets to this area. And if you look at what happened here, we had the breakdown of this trend line. We had a retest of this trend line. We had a breakdown, giving us a sign that probably sellers are still strong. But on the mid-April, we had a quick breakout of structure of that trend line, a retest into the trend line, then a trend continuation to the upside. Not until price gets to 1.79 one more time again, then we saw price come down into that trend line, then back up, finding a lower high. Then we saw a significant breakout of that trend line to for price to only come back to that 1.719 area, which it came back to in April. So coming back to that level, we said it might be a demand zone. And at the same time, with this trend line, we've identified it on the 4 hours time frame. That's the bearish trend line. Then we will be using the demand zone, this trend line, and probably look for a key level to work with to now determine if we are going to either buy or we are going to sell on this pair. So to identify the key level, we want to look for structures, a situation where we identify a level where resistance and support have met at one point in time, and also has the character of a breakdown or breakout of structure to use as a key level that we can walk around with going into the new week. So in that regard, after I pulled up my line chart, I could find a key level right at 1.74 area, which we'll want to label for clarity's sake, key level at 1.74. And that appears to me to be a psychological zone considering the round figure at this point in the market. So if we go back to our candlestick pattern, we can see that we have clues into what we might be expecting going into the new week. Now, the first thing first, considering the long-term bearish momentum on this one, is the possibility of a bearish move is very, very likely, considering the the impulse leg we identified here. And there is a possibility that price might retrace into what I might call a golden zone area before price comes back, have the strength to push price below that demand zone. So first of all, let me allow me to find a golden zone around this area. And if I bring out our retracement tool and run it through this, the last impulse like we can find here on the 4 hours time frame, we will see something like this. And then we can identify our golden zone between the 50 and 78.6% retracement of the last impulse leg, which falls right around this area. So we'll give this place selling opportunity and probably our new supply zone if we are looking for selling opportunities on this pair. No, let's place this inside and give this a yellow instead. So we have something like this. Let's delete this. So like I said, we might be looking forward to something like this since we had a rejection, selling opportunity, then price comes back into this trend line. And if we see a reversal structure, then we want to be buying and using that trend line as our guide for buying opportunity. Price can break out of that trend line, then we might be seeing a bullish trend, a bullish trend at this point. So a sell back comes in, then we might be seeing something like that. However, if price decides not to go above this key level, then the possibility of us seeing a multiple rejection of this trend line, after which you see signs that price is coming back to either the demand zone or pushing price below the demand zone with a signal, then a confirmation in the form of a retest of the demand zone for a trend continuation to the downside. So in the coming week, we want to be using these three parameters as our guide, and these are the bearish trend line here, where a breakout of that trend line could be signaling could signal a bullish momentum, after which sellers push price to retest that trend line. After then we can now be looking for buying continuity on this one. That's one. And the other one is that price does not break above this key level, and we see a continuous rejection of that trend line that will send price go to the downside, break down the demand zone, retest the demand zone, which will definitely, if we see a retest of the demand zone, then this will welcome an opportunity to add more position to our bearish position, bearish trade. So this is what we want to be looking at going into the new week. And like I said, this place could be a demand zone. This place could be a double bottom structure that will incite a breakout of structure, a retest, and send price go to the upside. That would be a long-term bullish opportunity where we'll be looking at the golden zone of the impulse leg and on daily time frame as a profit target for any buy opportunity zone. And if we pull out the retracement tool and run it through that impulse leg, we'll have something like this, and we have a profit target around this area. If we are going to buy on the long term, we have a profit target within this area. That is, if we see a breakout of this neckline, we could have a short-term selling opportunity here. price retest that neckline and push price break out of the neckline of the double bottom structure, and we have a take profit target here where we look for probably a reversal setup that will incite the long-term bearish momentum we identified on the daily and daily time frame. So on this note, I would like to pause the video and let's see what happens when the market opens, and this would decide wherever direction we want to be going moving into the new week. I will always make sure that I give an update in the comment section in my TradingView account if there is need for, and if there is need for a outright video, I will definitely do one and share accordingly. Thank you and good night.